Hard to believe, it's only $29. Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and in this video I'm going to review the Tullamore D.E.W Cider Cask Finish Triple Distilled Irish Whiskey. Now originally this bottle, according to the website, was only available at duty free at the airports, but I suspect, although they don't say that, because of the reduced travel on airports due to COVID and the pandemic and all that, their distribution went wider than was originally intended. So you can actually, if you look around, you can actually still find this at your local retail stores. And I picked this up at Total Wine & More, and I think it's quite a bargain. But before I get into this, here are my notes. So it is triple distilled, aged in ex-bourbon and ex-cider cask for 3 months. The cider is made from fresh apples that were pressed and fermented and aged in oak bourbon cask for several months to produce a small batch cider. It's bottled at 40% alcohol by volume, sells for $29 in my neighborhood, but I've seen it for $39 elsewhere. So it's not the most complex, whiskey. But what it has, I really like. I think it's a really delicious whiskey. One of the things distinct about it is Scotch cannot be aged in a cider cask. They have these sort of vague terms that the whiskey is supposed to, taste like whiskey. So whatever components to the whiskey are supposed to come from something which is distinctly, a product of the barley, product of fermentation, product from the cask, such that what you get from the cask is not supposed to imitate what would you get from some other source, whether it's the water, the grain, the barley, and so on and so forth. So you can get apple notes from fermentation, depending on the yeast you use, from the barley, and as well as from certain, let's say, bourbon cask. Apple and pear are natural aromas and flavors that you get from the spirit from a cask. So what the Scotch don't want is you to sort of imitate those flavors by introducing a cask that would artificially, or we would say automatically, introduce us. So you can't use a Calvados cask, you can't use a cider cask or anything like that, or any stone fruits like peach or anything like that. However, the Irish have a lot more freedom. They aren't even restricted to using oak. They can use other types of wood as well, although oak is the most common. So as you might expect, what you're going to get on those is a lot of apple. It smells a little bit like apple cider, but there's more going on to it than that. I get a lot of honey, vanilla. There actually is, I'm picking up a little bit of the malty character on there, a little bit of cinnamon, perhaps some baking spices. So it comes across very much like an apple pie. There's actually a little bit of citrus as well, a little lighter lemon character. All right, on the palate. What I like about this whiskey is it's somewhat dessert-like. It's like having apple pie in a glass. Get the apples, get the cinnamon, get maybe even nutmeg, loads of vanilla, a little bit of citrus, you got a little bit of lemon going on there, lots of vanilla, particularly on the mid palate. Texturally, and I think this is one of the things that's sort of unique to a lot of Irish whiskeys, is they tend to have a thicker, weightier mouthfeel, and yet they can deliver that without having a higher ABV. So it comes across as glossy, silky, smooth. Some people might say oily texture to it, and it has a full mouthfeel to it. The intensity of the flavor is, I would say, moderate. The development from the front to the middle and to the finish is moderate. It doesn't have a huge range of flavor. What you get at the front, what you get in the middle, and what you get at the finish are basically the same. The apple, a little bit of lemon, vanilla, cinnamon, maybe a little bit of nutmeg and baking spices. But what is there is really nice. It's somewhat, it's not super sweet, but I would say it's moderately sweet. So I like this after dinner. If you want a little bit of apple pie in a glass, there you go. And the real steal of this is the price, 29 bucks. Would I pay $40, $50 for this? No, probably not. I wouldn't go that high. But I think that, you know, the $25 to $30 range is absolutely spot on. I would say, in comparison to some of the other Tullamore D.E.W whiskeys that I've had, some I've done videos of, some I've not done videos of, I am more impressed with this because of the quality-price ratio. Is it my, you know, I'd rather have the 15-year-old or maybe the 12 or 14-year-old, you know, if you don't have to pay for it, you know, side by side the glasses? Absolutely. But bang for the buck, I think this is a real high quality price ratio whiskey. Really, really enjoyable. If you were going to build a budget whiskey bar and you wanted something with this sort of profile to it, I think this would be an excellent buy to put on there. And if you like Irish whiskeys and one of the things you gravitate towards is that mouthfeel, then I think this is absolutely spot on. It is easy to drink. It'd be easy to just keep pouring glass after glass after glass. Particularly if you're in warmer weather and you want to put it on ice, it still maintains some of that viscosity and mouthfeel to it on ice. So I really like it that as well. Now, what I'm going to give in terms of score, I'm going to go solid 86 points. 86 points. It doesn't have enough complexity and development and layers of flavor to get me, 89, 90 and up. It's not there. 86, I think it's very, very, very good. I think it's well balanced. I like the mouthfeel to it. That's probably one of the biggest sellers to it. And the flavor is enough. And I found that I particularly like this as an after-dinner drink. Something a little bit of sweet. In that place we might have maybe ice cream, or you might have apple pie. Alrighty, that's it for this review. If you have not yet subscribed, if you like watching my videos, I would greatly appreciate if you would subscribe. Ring the bell to be notified when I go live. And if you are one of my patrons, I want to thank you very much for joining my little group. Alright, until next time, cheers.